This is the fifth in a series of resources on the roles of money, the federal government, and the Fed in the economy of the United States. Part 1 considers money, how it is defined, how it is measured, and how it is created. Part 2 looks at the money market and what creates demand for money. Part 3 inspects inflation and its cost to the economy. Part 4 considers fiscal policy, defining it and its role in stabilizing the economy. Part 5 inspects the federal budget, its components, how it is funded, and what role federal deficits play in the economy. Part 6 looks at the Fed, its role, structure, and functions in the economy. The final part of the series considers monetary policy and how all the aspects of fiscal and monetary policy affect the gross domestic product. In the previous resource, we discussed the idea of fiscal policy, in which the federal government set their spending levels and tax policy. The actual document that sets down the fiscal policy is the federal budget. This is comprised of three parts: discretionary spending, entitlement and mandatory spending, and net interest. Discretionary spending gets authorized yearly. When the government struggles to create a balanced budget on time, it is due to disagreements on discretionary spending. The next portion of the federal budget are entitlement and mandatory spending. These outlays are authorized and required by prior laws. These payments usually provide support for individuals, including such programs as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the like. This is the largest single component of the budget. However, these are considered transfer payments, as no new products or services are created. Therefore, entitlement payments and other mandatory spending does not factor into the gross domestic product. The last portion of the federal budget is net interest. This interest is paid on government debt held by the public. This includes such investments as United States Treasury bonds, bills, and savings bonds. That is how the government spends its money. But how do they earn that money? Through taxes. Federal revenues come from income taxes, Social Security taxes, corporate taxes, as well as estate, excise, and other taxes. Note that Social Security taxes do not go into the general income for the government. Instead, it is used solely to fund various entitlement programs. A federal deficit occurs any time when federal expenses are more than federal revenues. These deficits help to stabilize the economy in times of recession. Because the budget is set every year, the amount of spending cannot change quickly enough to affect the economy. The government instead looks to lower taxes, which results in the federal deficit. In part, these deficits are used to fund various entitlement payments. But how do deficits stabilize the economy? There are actually three distinct ways. The first is because the deficit is used to fund entitlement payments. By increasing these transfer payments, the income for households is increased. This allows consumption spending to remain at the pre-recession level for households down on their luck. The next way is how the lowered taxes affect other households. Not every household will be eligible for the transfer payments. They will still reap the benefit of lower taxes, however. This allows those households to make other purchases. These additional purchases increase consumption spending. The government may also decide to lower corporate taxes. Because the taxes on businesses fall, those firms need not cut spending to maintain their profit levels. Since the company's spending stays strong, they can afford to keep their workforce fully employed, and employees can keep their jobs. Deficits, like inflation, get a bad rap. Deficits are simply an opportunity cost. The government chooses to lower their revenue stream in order to bolster the other components of the gross domestic product. These deficits help stabilize the economy in the event of a recession. As we saw, the deficits help maintain consumption, but this comes at a cost. Maintaining the consumption is done at the expense of additional investment. Therefore, there is less possibility for the economy to grow. However, deficits must be used in moderation. Large deficits are bad for the economy because a healthy economy requires growth. Deficits make the ideal long, slow, constant growth of an economy difficult to achieve.